Hello students, myself K.V. Ramana, lecturer of zoology. I want to tell you today the human physiology, junior inter, that is the breathing and exchange of gases. It is one of the important chapter. A significant questions are asking from this chapter in the NEET examination. So I hope you will reach this chapter by enthusiastically. Today, before going to start the chapter, we have to know about all living cells required constant supply of energy. All living cells in the multicellular or unicellular, whatever the organism, energy is required to continue their metabolic activities. Energy is produced by oxidation of micromolecules such as glucose, amino acids, fatty acids. Whenever the oxidation takes place in our body, automatically some products will be formed. That products such as carbon dioxide, water and energy. So energy used for the metabolic activities, but carbon dioxide is a harmful gas, so immediately it should be sent out. This is a process we can call as a breathing. Breathing in the sense intake of fresh air and removal of foul air are the process of exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere with carbon dioxide produced by the cells are called breathing. As per NCERT, breathing also known as respiration. What is the carbon dioxide is produced by the cells. That carbon dioxide should be come out as a foul air, and while taking the oxygen it go into the body or lungs as a fresh air. So breathing is nothing but intake of fresh air and removal of foul air, are the process of exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere with the carbon dioxide produced by the cells are called breathing. So generally respiration is different from the breathing. The respiration is oxidation of food to form the carbon dioxide, water and ATP energy. That means what are the micromolecules are there such as glucose, fatty acids and amino acids. These molecules must be oxidized to produce these all substances, right? Okay, what is the difference between breathing and respiration? Generally breathing in the sense it is a physical process, it is a voluntary process, it is a controlled process, right? Even though it is controlled by the medulla oblongata, but we can be regulate, right? It's a fast breathing or slow breathing is under controlled by us. But when you come to that's a respiration or cellular respiration, the oxidation of food to form the carbon dioxide, water and ATP, that means it is not controlled by us. It is involuntary process. The process of respiration again divided into two types based on the different type of living organisms, right? Some are anaerobic respiration, some are aerobic respiration. So we are going to explain about types of respiration. Respiration is basically divided into two types. One is anaerobic respiration, second one is aerobic respiration. Here anaerobic respiration means the respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. That means this type of living organisms or this type of conditions, oxygen is not required. The incomplete breakdown of organic molecules takes place. What are the organic molecules or nutrient molecule are taking? That organic molecules such as glucose, it is partially oxidized. That means incomplete breakdown of organic molecules. By the result of this, they have to produce a less yield of energy, right? If you see in the equation, you can understand easily. In the anaerobic respiration, there are two types of anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration basically we can call as a fermentation, right? Based on the formation of the end products, this anaerobic respiration or fermentation is divided into two types. One is a ethyl alcohol fermentation, second one is a lactic acid fermentation. So glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and ethyl alcohol and less ATP will be produced. What is the reason for the less ATP production? Due to incomplete breakdown of organic molecules. I hope you understand, right? Now here is ethanol is the end product, that's why it is called ethyl alcohol fermentation. It is mostly occur in fungi like yeast, right? The yeast is the best example for the ethyl alcohol fermentation. Come to the lactic acid fermentation. Lactic acid fermentation, it is occurring even human beings also when the conditions are not favorable. Favorable in the sense, when you are doing the vigorous activities, what is the glucose is present in our body, that glucose will be oxidized in the absence of oxygen, so it liberate the lactic acid and some amount of energy. Due to accumulation of lactic acid, we feel pain during vigorous activities. So human muscle cells also take example for the what is that anaerobic respiration. When we are doing the vigorous activities or strenuous exercises, right? When you are doing the vigorous activities. At the same time, we can take one more example for the anaerobic respiration is lactobacillus. Preparation of the curd. While taking the lukewarm milk, we are adding the some previous day butter to the milk. Then the previous day buttermilk contains some lactobacillus. The lactobacillus convert the lactose, the milk sugar, which will be converted into the lactic acid. Then it's also produce some amount of energy. That energy used for the growing the lactobacillus. Like that, here we can take it, lactic acid fermentation and ethyl alcohol fermentation. Ethyl alcohol or ethanol fermentation takes place in the yeast. Lactic acid fermentation takes place in the human beings, that is the skeletal muscles, as well as the lactic acid fermentation you can see in the lactobacillus also, right? Come to the aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is nothing but the process of respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen. Due to presence of more oxygen, complete breakdown of organic molecules takes place. I told you what is a nutrient molecule or food molecule or organic molecule will be completely oxidized. Then they have to liberate more yield of energy. That is the result of aerobic respiration. If you see aerobic respiration, there is a 36 ATPs are formed because here the glucose is completely oxidized. The glucose is completely oxidized to produce a carbon dioxide, water and energy in the presence of oxygen. That's why here the important thing is the main difference between the aerobic and anaerobic respiration is anaerobic respiration no need of the oxygen. These platyhelminthes and nematodes shows the mostly facultative respiration. Facultative process is nothing but whenever the oxygen is available, they go for the aerobic respiration. Whenever the oxygen is not available, they go for the anaerobic respiration. And one of the unicellular protist we can take as a human welfare, that is about Entamoeba histolytica is an obligatory parasite. That means it is a very sensitive to the oxygen. If you provide the oxygen, that Entamoeba histolytica will be die. So that here the Entamoeba histolytica is the best example for the obligatory anaerobes. Obligatory anaerobes is nothing but it is a very sensitive. It can live without oxygen only. Ascaris lumbricoid is there. It is a facultative anaerobe. Facultative anaerobe is nothing but whether the oxygen is available, they go for the aerobic respiration. If the oxygen is not available, it go for the anaerobic respiration. It can be survive in any condition. Facultative, that is based on the facilities they can perform the respiration. Right? We'll see that here in the next event we go for the respiratory organs. Basically, respiratory organs are different types in the living organisms.